right. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
Feeling good. About to head out to Charlotte tomorrow, catch that game on Sunday. Got to watch my Canes somewhere Saturday night over there, and then cover the Dolphins against the Panthers.
Okay. Yeah, you should. You're in Charlotte, right? In downtown Charlotte?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah, you'll be fine. I did Charlotte once for the SEC media days.
Okay.
They were in Charlotte. They were in Charlotte once, and that was fun. You'll have no problem.
SEC or ACC?
SEC.
It was SEC over there. Okay.
No, it was ACC.
Yeah,
That one was ACC. That's right. SEC was in Georgia. Was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, Atlanta, and then I did it also in Hoover. There were two different places that I did the SEC media days. I remember I did SEC, and then I only did the ACC once. Once I roasted Al Golden there, they never brought me back again.
No way. They actually wouldn't credential you, or?
No. The station and obviously the University of Miami's media relations is one of the weakest I've ever seen in my life. They can't take any kind of criticism. But obviously when you go for the ACC stuff, it's just about ass kissing and pom poms. But I wasn't going to do that with Al Golden. I wasn't going to allow him to get away with that. So I roasted his ass. And you remember when he had a linebacker when I forgot what team it was they were playing. They were at the 1 or 2 yard line, but his linebackers were like 8 yards.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
All right. So I brought out that and I showed it and I said, like, can you explain how this makes any sense? And, I had him blah, 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 blah. And then Paul Johnson walks behind us and he even goes, well, he also runs it too.
Wow.
That was his explanation. It was classic. It was really good. It was just
that one, because I remember that, and I feel like everyone was on Mark D'Onofrio, the defensive coordinator, for that. But the thing is, Al Golden tied himself to D'Onofrio for way too long. I mean, he had to move off of his buddy there. We're talking. This is 10 years ago now, but that was my recollection.
Excuse my French, but how the fuck do you have at the 1 yard line that somebody's trying to rush in? How is your linebacker lined up 7 yards deep into the damn end zone? I'm sorry, the math doesn't. That's what I told them. The math doesn't jive here. The distance between the running back to get inside the end zone is a lot shorter than your linebacker to get to the line. Like, how does that make any sense? Please explain this to me, coach. And he had a whole bunch of gobbledygook and all that. And obviously right there, the media relations people were shitting in their pants. So they were telling QAM and, obviously they folded like a cheap 10. And we can't send Orlando back there. He's actually going to ask real questions. We don't want that. We want cheerleaders and pom-poms while we're there. You know what I'm saying? So, it just.
Now, let me also get the timeline on this, because then this would be a play from the previous season, like somewhere in the middle of the previous season.
Yeah, it was towards. I think it was closer towards the end. It was a key game.
Yeah.
That decided something in the season. I forgot what it was, dude, but it was just like a thing that nobody asked him about this. No
one did back then when it happened, right? So this was your next chance to talk to him? This is like the next time you saw him? Okay, yeah.
This is my only chance. I don't cover the Canes. You know that.
Yeah.
I was always a Dolphins guy and a Heat guy. Those are the things that I covered permanently. When I first got to the station, they handed me the Marlins, okay? And guess what? When I got there, it was 97. So they handed me the Marlins at the right year. You know what I mean? We won the World Series, and I'm full of champagne. And then I begged them, like, I'm a football guy. Please get me the Dolphins. I think we had Jody Jackson there. And then Jody left to Arizona. And then that's when I swooped in and took over the Dolphins beat and the Heat beat from that moment on. When Jody left from QAM to Arizona, I took over. And then I took it over for like 8 years or something like that I did it. But then they needed me to fill in for the ACC. And I knew what this guy was doing, and I was like, nah, dude, you're not getting away with this shit. So I had to put his feet to the fire there, and I had to ask him for that because nobody had challenged him about that.
Okay, yeah. my only argument would have been that the timing would have been odd to do it right before the very next season, like months later. But if no one did ask him back when it happened, and I remember it, I remember that play where, I mean, that's something like you got to ask in the media. So if that's true that no one did ask him back then I feel
Nobody
you were entitled to follow up, and finally you get an answer on that.
Yeah, nobody challenged him about that. Now, every radio tough guy was talking about it. Writers were writing about it, but nobody actually questioned him about it. And that's, that's all right, dude. I'm used to being the bad guy. It's all right, bro. That's been my life. I'm good with that. I can live with that, man. I'm a big boy. I can handle that kind of stuff. All right, let's get to, you know what? Before we get to Dolphins, I want to get into a really interesting conversation with you because I think you are looking at the Shedeur Sanders situation very very general, and you're on the side that you're going completely after this kid.
No.
Okay. Are.
I'm going after this kid.
Yeah, you say
he's digging himself a hole. But go ahead. What's your question?
No, I don't believe he's digging himself a hole at all, dude. Okay, what's gone on here was Sanders' family wants to challenge the system. Okay, from the get-go. They wanted to challenge the system. They didn't want to land somewhere where they were going to get screwed and all that. So they made it hard on the interviews, and that's probably a bad move on their part. But the NFL clearly wanted to dick them back when it's all said and done. And everybody was not going to draft him. Remember, the team that drafted him is the same team that signed an alleged rapist to a fully guaranteed contract. Okay? So the Cleveland Browns become a clown show, which they drafted another quarterback before him. And let me ask you, just out of curiosity, I want to know your real opinion on this. You taking Dillon Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders? And are you starting Dillon Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders?
No, I was shocked when the Browns took Dillon Gabriel with Shedeur Sanders still on the board.
I'm asking you. I don't care about the Browns. I'm asking you, what would you do?
Yeah, I would have had Shedeur. I mean, yeah, Shedeur Sanders was higher on my board. I didn't have a really board,
So your reality is that Shedeur Sanders is the backup quarterback to Joe Flacco. That's your reality, right? He was better than Pickett. He's better than Dillon Gabriel. I get it if you want to start the veteran, but Shedeur should be the second guy, right? If that's the reality.
That talent base, I think, yeah. I think Shedeur Sanders. I'm not watching Dillon Gabriel, but yes. I loved what Shedeur did in the preseason when he did get a chance.
Okay, so guess what's going on? They're purposely keeping the kid down. The league and now the Browns are basically doing it. So since everybody's just punking the kid at the moment, I love that he's punking them back. Because as you, as a guy on the beat, should know, nobody wants to talk to the third quarterback, bro. Bullshit, bro. Nobody wants to talk to the backup quarterback. And the only reason a media member went over to the third quarterback, porque son unos fucking descarados. Because all they want to do is stir bullshit up because they know if they go there, there's no story. He's not playing. There's no reason for you to go as a media member over there. It's irresponsible on your part. You're only going there for a bad motive. So guess what the kid does? You're an idiot franchise that signs a rapist. You're an idiot franchise that makes your third quarterback available. All NFL teams, I've been there, bro. They can round you all up and say, hey, the third quarterback or this player is not available. If they even walk in the locker room, do not approach them. And you cannot approach them. And that's happened a billion times in this business. And if the Browns didn't want this mess and this circus, they would have done the responsible thing and say, hey, nobody talks to the third quarterback, period, end of story, and nobody approaches him. Because the only reason a media member would approach him is with a bad motive in place. There's no storyline. If you wanted to set up a story with the media relations, say, hey, I'm doing a personal story because he donated to some kids thing or he did some, I want to do a personal interest, or then you can go talk to the third quarterback on your own, one-on-one. They'll set it up for you. But nobody allows you to talk to the third quarterback. There's no reason to talk to the third quarterback, bro. None.
All right, first on that point, you're wrong because all training camp, the stories that we do best covering the Dolphins were about Quinn Ewers. All right, now he's not going to be starting during the
regular season. Let's keep.
Oh yeah, and we haven't talked to Quinn Ewers, but he's still a third quarterback of interest.
No.
If we talk to Quinn Ewers, that story will get some readership.
Are you talking to Quinn Ewers in the regular season?
No, but the Dolphins also don't have a quarterback change. It's not Zach Wilson coming in, and then I think if Zach Wilson were to be coming in for Tua, we'd be getting Quinn Ewers' reaction.
Did you talk to Quinn Ewers this week leading up to the game? He's the emergency quarterback.
No, absolutely not.
Well, I'm sorry. Did you talk to him last week? He's the emergency quarterback.
No, we're not talking to Quinn Ewers.
Hold on
I
a second.
totally understand Browns media talking to Shedeur Sanders though, because he was supposed to be some said he was supposed to be the number one pick.
No, he's not.
You're covering them all season.
My brother, you got to stop. Let's stay in reality. We're not talking about training camp. We're not talking about supposed to. We're talking about the regular season, how business is done in the regular season. I just asked you, did you talk to Quinn Ewers?
And you know what? You're spending like 5-6 minutes here blaming the media. How about the player? All right, let's focus on the player controlling what he can control. You want to focus on the media. You're shifting this conversation to where it's not supposed to go. Blaming the media. The media is going to go to you if you're giving them all this out of this world reaction. Now coming with your own unique way to react and say you're not saying anything by doing this thing that no one else has ever done. Yeah, the media is coming at you for reaction, but he's not controlling what he can control.
But you're feeding into it by saying, "Oh, he's setting himself back." No, dude, he's clowning and mocking something that should
himself. He's clowning himself.
No, he's
congratulations if you think he's clowning everyone that follows him. No, he's digging himself a bigger hole.
Not really, because eventually you'll have to start him and he'll get his say. And when he plays well, if he plays well, he'll get to control his destiny and tell the Browns to go screw themselves. And they'll have to tag him just to keep him if they want to keep him. And so it'll become a worse circus for him because of the way the Browns have mishandled it when the owner even said it wasn't my draft pick. Okay, so I do blame the media for going to the third quarterback because nobody ever goes to the third quarterback, as you proved it right there. And I blame the Browns.
He's not controlling. He can control.
Like I told you, I blame the Browns organization because they can put a kibosh on it because nobody talks to the third quarterback, as proven by you in 2025 or in many years that I covered the league. Nobody gives a shit about the third quarterback until he plays. Now, if there are two injuries in this game and then Shedeur plays, now the media can talk to Shedeur. But the fact that everyone else has clowned this whole thing, it's because they're trying to keep the kid down from the get-go. I just asked you, what's common sense? Who's the second best quarterback on the team? You agreed with me that it's Shedeur. So then why are we doing all of this? Why is he 3? Why was he 4? Why was he behind Kenny Pickett on top of all of that? And why is it that they keep doing all of this? So while they keep doing this, I'm glad he's doing that because the real clowns are the Browns and the media falling for this bullshit that the league is pulling on the Sanders family.
You seem to be so focused on everything that has been put in front of Shedeur Sanders, on all the excuse me, sorry, on everything that he's going through and the media attention that he gets.
Yes.
How about he handles himself like a pro when he does have this in front of him and goes, all he had to do was the most obvious course of action. All right, media's coming to me. One, yeah, it looks terrible if the Browns say you can't talk to him because then you prove that he can't be trusted.
No, Papa.
Let me finish. I'll let you talk. 2.
That's normal in the NFL.
No, they wouldn't block. The media relations staff wouldn't block media from going. If I went to Quinn Ewers right now, I could in the locker room. I could, and eventually I do want to write a story on him. So I haven't spoken to him yet because There's been all this fire Mike McDaniel banter and banners flying, and there's Tua having his turnover issues.
You don't talk to the third because he's not a story. That's why you're not going to talk to Quinn Ewers until he's a story. That's what the third quarterback is. He's not.
No, but that story, what a lot of people are interested in how Quinn Ewers is doing behind the scenes. So that story would be something that would draw some traction, some reaction once it does come out. I just haven't had a chance to get around to it. But Quinn Ewers, like Shedeur Sanders, is a third-string quarterback of interest because he also fell in the draft and was expected to go higher on a different scale. Shedeur was thought to be the number 2 quarterback. Some people had him number 1, and he ends up going in the 5th round and he is Deion Sanders' son. Yeah, there's reasons why. There's an abundance of reasons. He had his college number retired at his alma mater. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of reasons why Shedeur Sanders is deserving of media attention as a whole. And then now when media goes to him,
don't you find it odd that the team drafts him and yet puts him 4th on depth chart when you yourself and most of us would say with half a brain, whether you think he's good or not, he's still the best quarterback that they have, and yet they're putting him through this entire circus.
But the Browns did select a different quarterback before him. So that's the Browns depth chart. So that's consistent with what the Browns did on draft day. They drafted another quarterback before him. He's going to be ahead of him.
So why not trade Sanders instead of Pickett if you had Pickett in front of him? You know, it's just these
trade
are just
Sanders because no other team wants Sanders. This is the biggest thing is that no team is looking at Sanders do that shit and saying, "Oh man, we missed out on him. Damn, I wish I had Shedeur Sanders. When I had a chance in the 4th round, I should have drafted him because look at what he's doing over there. He's putting together this clown show mime thing, bro." 32 out of 32 teams are looking at that like, woo, the Browns included.
And why would the Browns be the ones to do this whole circus when he's clearly better than everybody else? It's because the Sanders family wanted to challenge the system because they didn't want to end up like normal quarterbacks, high picks, that you end up in terrible places. So they were trying to control it like the Manning. It has definitely backfired on them. There's no doubt about that. But if you don't see that the Browns are part of this clown show, and then the media is feeding into it, so he's just doing the same. He's just fighting the system, is what he's doing. That's all he's doing, fighting the system.
I don't know about the system. I mean, some of that conspiracy stuff maybe could be. I'm not privy to that. And 2, as the media, you're gonna feed into what the fans want to know. So fans, because look, this goes up, and everyone is talking about Shedeur Sanders did this. One, because Shedeur Sanders did something that no other professional athlete would do in this situation. Even though everyone wants to say, you see, he's proven him wrong. He even when he doesn't say anything, everyone plays the clip. Yeah, because it's going viral. Everyone's retweeting it. And everyone's interested in this, as opposed to, I can't even find the Dylan Gabriel video of him probably saying all the right things in front of the media about taking the job, and Joe Flacco probably saying all the right things about him being the quarterback replaced. All Shedeur Sanders had to do was go up there and say, hey, Dylan Gabriel's doing a fantastic job. He really earned that starting role. I'm just trying to get better, and Joe Flacco has been a tremendous leader for the both of us. And as a media member, I might tout him for growth and maturity if he just went ahead and did that. But instead, he's going and doing his own clown show to retaliate against what he perceives is a clown show against him.
Meanwhile, the Grossi guy was going after him the entire time, even when he was doing, stuff that's all right. You say it yourself that he's the better quarterback, but you can see that they're purposely keeping him down. It's like it's on purpose that they're doing this.
I don't know if he's a better quarterback in practice under their system, in their scheme. I'm not there. I'm not coaching them. I'm not with them day in and day out. But I mean, I had him higher as a draft prospect than Dylan Gabriel. That's what I know.
And would you take him over Kenny Pickett?
Right, take him over Kenny Pickett. I don't know how he's doing in that system in their practice, but I mean, for his
overall,
knowing what Kenny Pickett is and what Shedeur can be, yeah, I would take his potential. Sure.
Okay. I think all of us with just a half a brain would take Shedeur over all those quarterbacks. Okay, you want to start with the veteran Flacco, that's fine. But if you're not doing this, then there's obviously something going on, and he knows that because of the way they mishandled the draft part of it, that he's getting played here. And so why is he going to be the guy that follows and kisses their ass when he's not getting any breaks? He's being put behind Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel. That's how he's being rewarded. So, why make a clown show of the clown show? That's what you do. That's what the Browns are. They're a clown show. I'm glad he is mocking everything, because the fact that even the media is going there, it's because they're going there with one motive, and it's not a good one. Because
you're so focused on the media motive.
The media is the one that stirred. They're the ones that go to Shedeur Sanders when there's no reason to go to Shedeur Sanders. Zero.
No, because they know that
Zero.
he's probably going to have something to say, and that there's a lot of interest in. But you see, that's because he set himself up for that because of the way he's acted every level to this point.
Stop with the interest, bro. Please stop with the interest.
Yes,
they're not going there.
The only thing people care about is the whole situation. No one's talking about Dylan Gabriel. How come everyone's reaction? First Take, I was just watching them before I joined you. They're talking about Shedeur Sanders, not what's Dylan Gabriel doing well behind the scenes to now be the starting quarterback.
ESPN is that those people there are taking fake stances. You're actually taking a real stance, and so am I. That's the difference. This is actually a real discussion where you believe Sanders is the problem, and I believe the media and the league and the Browns are the bigger problem than anything else. Sanders is clowning what's going on because he's challenging the system.
Here's the overriding point.
This is a real disagreement. The bullshit that goes on ESPN, somebody has to take a side. That's what they
exactly. Yeah. Which I love this discussion, by the way. But here's the overriding point: is that there's any backup quarterback, any third string quarterback, any player who's not getting playing time in the NFL, any player who's not getting their opportunity with a team, they'll have their reasons to believe they're being undervalued, they're being undermined. For Shedeur Sanders, that's this exactly everything that you're laying out, and that the media then goes to him for a reaction over. Okay, but deal with it like a pro. There is not that you're not helping yourself with the Browns, number one. You're not helping yourself with any of the other 31 teams who may end up having a quarterback injury, may down the road be looking for a quarterback. No GM, no NFL team is watching that and saying, you know what, Shedeur is the guy that I could see myself now going after. They're all going like, man, we dodged the bullet there. I don't need that clown show in my locker room.
So you really think that when the same team signed a rapist? You really think that when the same team signed a rapist? I saw Art Schlichter.
What's the point with that? I don't understand.
Whatever Shedeur Sanders is, he's not a rapist, bro. Okay? He's not going to be. You're not going to have to worry about him actually like attacking women all over the country. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty good, at least.
I mean, is that your standard? Is just like that? That's the only thing we need to worry about. That's a lot of people. A lot of people are not rapists.
This league bring back Art Schlichter several times when he's like passing, bad checks and bankruptcy and all kinds of, shit. I've seen them bring back Tommy Kramer over and over again with alcohol issues and all that. Dude, the league is littered with players. And I just gave you quarterbacks. I can go through other positions. Okay, I've got it all in here, bro. A ton. They bring you back and Ray Lewis, bro, where's the cream suit? Where's the cream suit, dude? What happened? Guy was there, part of a murder. What happened? They brought him back, and now he can lead the troops and all that stuff and profess everything. And, what happened, dude? They bring you back no matter what, man. What are we talking about here? Ray Rice beat the crap out of Woman, and they brought him back, and people wanted to bring him back. So what Shedeur Sanders is doing is nothing, bro. What, a speeding ticket? What, making fun and mime or whatever? That's bullshit. The second he plays, dog, and he will play for the Browns because they suck. And if he plays well, there'll be 10 teams lined up ready to sign him. Why? Because he ain't passing bad checks, because he isn't an alcoholic, because he isn't a rapist, because he doesn't do a lot of the other shit that I've seen them accept back. Okay? Because we got a guy, a wide receiver, that brings a hell of a lot more baggage than Shedeur Sanders ever will. So again, media, you're overblowing it with Shedeur Sanders, my man. It's just a kid, bro. Just a kid doing kid things. Nothing real criminal.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that stance that he's not actually getting himself into real trouble. So
Nothing.
obviously, obviously that's great. And you know what? And I'll leave it with this: is I hope exactly what you're saying plays out, because I really enjoyed it when Shedeur had a great preseason game, and it was like, oh shit, here he is. He's proving the league wrong. And I hope he bounces back and proves people wrong as far as why he was buried on the depth chart and taken so low. But in this moment, I just don't see him doing himself any favors when he is backup to the backup, and this is how he's behaving in the locker room. Handle yourself like a pro, and then you can expedite that process to get yourself that opportunity. But right now, no one's looking at that and saying, man, yeah, that guy really deserves the chance at this moment. Everyone, all the other teams are looking at it like, you know what? I'm glad I don't have that in my locker room. I'm glad I dodged that bullet. And then the Browns are like, Jesus, Shedeur, like you're seriously pulling this. Hey, but I hope he does get that chance, and then he turns it around because I would enjoy seeing that redemption. But in that moment, he is not helping himself.
No, I know, but if all you're going to do is screw me, well, then I'm going to, I personally for myself,
Not the way to handle it, though.
I've been in that situation where people are effing with you, and then they want you to, come through for them. And I'm the guy that says, no, I'm not doing that, bro. I'm sorry. So I kind of understand where he's battling in all of this. All right, let's get to the Dolphins.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Somebody tells Ocho Cinco that there's no way Tyreek Hill comes back this season. Okay. I don't know what kind of drugs he's working on or anything like that. It might be some really good stuff. And the other thing, let's tell Rosenhaus, yeah, he's not coming back here either. But your thoughts on all of that silliness?
Yeah. I mean, Ocho, I think that was just ridiculous. Obviously, you don't. And Mike McDaniel even said his season is over. I think we went through it with probably what was less of an injury. Even, I mean, Achilles is very serious, but Aaron Rodgers was trying to come back that same year. Plus, he plays quarterback, so I mean, he could be a stationary statue quarterback and try to throw the ball around, but and not have to use his legs that much. Tyreek Hill is very dependent on his legs and his speed, so no, he's not coming back. This is already early October. He's not coming back in December in two months and change to play.
But,
so
by the way, he would risk his future. He's better off taking the whole year and off season off so he can be 100% to work out for the next team and be. If he comes back early and pushes it, bro, his career will be over. Actually.
Yeah. So we can cancel that out, cross that off as a possibility. And what was the other one you asked me about? Drew Rosenhaus. He's doing his job. He's his agent. So obviously, he's going to put the most positive outlook on things at this moment. But we won't really know until. He's talking from the standpoint of him coming back with the Dolphins. Yeah, he's going to express Tyreek's wishes. Tyreek has said before that he likes being a member of the Dolphins and this and that. Now he's coming off this injury. He was already probably bound to be released before next season. I don't think the Dolphins were going to keep him around by that third day of the league year when then some guarantees kick in. So I feel like the Dolphins were bound to part ways with him at that point, if not earlier. I was looking at the trade deadline this year. if the season had already gone awry at that point. So I find it unlikely, but maybe there's the off chance of like there's just not that much interest around the league from somewhere else that the Dolphins could get him back very cheap. Like same way Bradley Chubb had his deal restructured. Now that would be the only scenario where I could see, hey, you know what, Dolphins and Tyreek Hill come to a conclusion like, if you still want to be here, we can take you back on a really cheap restructured deal, maybe with some incentives, and we will bring you back in that case. That's really the only scenario where I could see something still happening for 2026.
Okay, so I know. I'm accused of being Chris Greer's left tackle. Okay, so let's leave that out there. Okay, so okay, great. So now, people bitched about losing Christian Wilkins, and reporters and fans and all that. And so then he blows out his knee or ankle, I forgot which one it was, and he's gone for the year. The Raiders release him, and all of a sudden, Christian Wilkins wasn't a bad move by the Dolphins, right? Overall, right? Okay, so then Rob Hunt, you know, at first I agreed with them. I'm not paying a guard 20 million, but that's what it looked like they were wrong, and so was I, because obviously he played well. But now suffers a season-ending injury. He's done for the year. So maybe the Dolphins were right on that one, because now it's a player got injured for the whole
Not
year.
playing Sunday for the Panthers against the Dolphins.
Right, not playing, right? So, and not playing this year. He's done for the year. I mean, it's a torn pec. He's gone. So, okay, so now the new one is, well, they didn't want to pay Jonnu Smith, and he's gone. But now they signed a guy that, personally for me, I'm like, hey, man, watch out. You don't expect much from this guy because he's been very inconsistent. Well, he's only played 1 out of 4 games, so kind of goes with the inconsistency. But in that one game, he has more touchdowns on the season than Jonnu Smith. And Jonnu Smith, by the way, has a total of 71 yards on the season. It's not like he's tearing it up in Pittsburgh. So some of the decisions that were made by the front office are actually looking better now.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, it's funny how every time it's like, yeah, the Christian Wilkins thing, obviously in the moment was tough to deal with. Rob Hunt, seeing him become a Pro Bowler last year. But I think the original stance there was, boy, that's a lot to pay a guard.
I was with you.
Yeah. And now this Darren Waller one is really interesting because, especially on this program, you didn't think he would even play, right? You didn't think he would even suit up for it all.
Like he's not going to be much this season at all. I don't count on. How would you count on Darren Waller at 33 years old? There's no way. And by the way, he hasn't done anything. It's just 1 game out of 4. He's only played 1 out of 4 so far. So let's hope he can actually stay on the field. But in 1 game, he has more touchdowns than Jonnu Smith does, dude.
Yeah, that was a good point you brought up on Twitter. Because especially week 1, you saw Jonnu Smith score a touchdown, and then immediately as the Dolphins were getting their ass beat by the Colts, you're like, boy, look at this. You let go of him. He's already scoring for the Steelers as they win a game, and the Dolphins are getting crushed in Indy. But quick redemption with Darren Waller, first game, 2 touchdowns. So interesting. And now that's a whole nother thing that opponents have to game plan for is, boy, you used to just always play too high shell and take away the speed of Tyreek Hill with Jalen Waddle. Now it's really just it's Jalen Waddle without Tyreek Hill on the outside. Yeah, there's going to be some opportunities for Nick Westbrook-Akine and Malik Washington, but instead of Tyreek Hill, now you're game planning for Darren Waller, 6'6" tight end, which the Dolphins haven't had anyone like that since Mike Gesicki, and Waller is another level above what Gesicki was in Miami's offense. So and maybe Mike McDaniel is more prone to use him than he did Gesicki back then when they had that year where they coincided. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that develops as far as how the offense changed, how defenses maybe play Miami differently.
Yeah. All right. What are you picking in this game?
Yeah, I do have I haven't been a tough one, but the Dolphins winning 24-23, a tight one going on the road Carolina in their one home game, they beat the Falcons 30-0. They've lost their 3 road games, so we don't have too much of a sample of them at home, even though they're 1-3. But I think the Dolphins should be a better team, even without Tyreek Hill, and maybe without him, it opens up some new things, has them go into the run game more. It unlocks Malik Washington, and maybe a lot of attention now goes to Darren Waller when he's in, and it opens it up for different guys. And maybe this is the game where they start to stop the run. Maybe.
And no Chuba Hubbard. So
yeah. So Chuba Hubbard, he's out. So maybe this is when they start to stop the run, because that's the big thing. The defense has to stop the ground game.
Well, if Hubbard's out, at least that helps, because he was going to pound the crap out of him. So
Rico Dowdle, he's not bad there, because he had a good season last year for Dallas. But obviously the O-line a little banged up too, not having Rob Hunt. His backup is also out, Chandler Zavala. So they're going third string right guard, which I guess the Dolphins are too.
I'm with you. I'm hoping for a ugly win. In other words, just a tight win, but they get a win. I don't think they're not going to blow them out, because their defense is not there. It's just not ready yet, dude. It's just not ready. All right, what else you got going on the Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Yeah, I'm going to be previewing this game, I think, with the Jalen Waddle angle of him now being called to be that number 1 wide receiver, which he was drafted to be at one point. Second year in the league, Tyreek Hill comes in, so he's always kind of been relegated. Although the Dolphins say, oh, yeah, we've always viewed him as a number 1, 1A, 1B, whatever, but he's truly been relegated to number 2 with Tyreek Hill. So now it's truly that time where Jalen Waddle is that number 1 receiver. So I think I'm going to take that angle into game day.
That was my question right from the post game. Will Jalen Waddle be Bam Adebayo, or will he be Jimmy Butler?
Yeah.
That's what I want to find out. Yeah, you can still be a hell of a player when you're Bam Adebayo, but you're not Jimmy Butler. And that's what Tyreek Hill was. He was Jimmy Butler. That's what Mark Clayton was. That's what Irving Fryer was. That's what a number 1 is, So let's see if he actually can be a Jimmy Butler type. We're going to find out. All right, follow him on Twitter at @DavidFurones_, and make sure you subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, be safe in your travels. We will catch up on Sunday.
Yes, sir. Great discussion today.
You got it. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. There you go. David Furones and Welt Rheaume. They know how to get it done. If you want to call them, you can call them. The consultation is completely free. 954-966-4646. They handle it all, and a lot of people are dealing with bankruptcy issues right now, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. We are in storm season, so anytime you can have a torrential downpour. If you start seeing any spots on your roof, you may have a leak. Never call the insurance companies. Call Welt Rheaume. They will send their adjusters. They will look at the damage. They will see if you have a case, and then they will attack the insurance company. It's a beautiful thing. No headaches for you. And then you just pick up the check at the Hollywood offices. 954-966-4646.
This is the Big O Show.